What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about how and I want you guys to remember how I and many others were Pan African before it became cool. All right? Understand what I'm saying? Me, myself, and various others are Pan African now. And right now, it's not exactly cool, but people are inquiring about it, right? It's part of the battle of ideas, of the direction of what it is Africans worldwide, what direction we need to go, how we need to think, right? And Pan-Africanism is basically an African who understands that he's part of a greater community of other Africans, despite their historical, differences, despite where we are, located around the world, where we are, far as religion is concerned, what ethnic group we belong to. But the commonality is of being African people, the first people, the original people, the parents, mothers and fathers of civilization, that thing that connects us, the extra chromosomes and the extra genetic material that we have in our system, the thing that makes us so spectacular and great, the thing that makes us sing better than everybody else, the thing that makes us connect to the rhythm better than everybody else, the thing that gets us that has us connected to that vibration of life better than everybody else, that thing that makes us better communicators than everybody else, especially since we've been doing it way longer than everybody else. So clearly we've had more practice in doing all this stuff, so we should be better than everybody else. The thing that allowed us to advance, to create an advanced form of community that other people, other groups of people struggle to emulate, right? That community that not only people struggle to emulate, but they want, need, and desire, and they, if given the chance, when given the chance, they take it from us, right? That's why our culture is so popular. That's why we're so popular, and it's not taking anything away from any other popular culture, because there are other cultures that are very popular, but none compares to the African culture, to the African people, to the things we've contributed in society throughout the world, in ancient times and in modern times. But you see, now Pan-Africanism is the next evolution of blackness on this planet, the global African, right? The global African, because the world's getting smaller. There's nothing we can do about it, all right? The world's getting smaller. We're connecting quicker. We're able to get to different places faster than we used to, right? It used to take months to walk from Florida to New York. Then you got a horse and it'll take you maybe a month, right? And then we invented cars and it'll take you a couple days, and you can fly. You can get there in 45 minutes to an hour, depending on, So the ability for people to get from point A to point B, and the fact that the prices have come down, any individual can get anywhere on the world within 24 48 hours and just be there, right? And so since the world is getting smaller, African people have to come to a reckoning that we are, if we're going to be taken serious in this world, we have to consider ourselves global citizens of this earth. I mean, we're the ones who populated it for everybody else, right? We're the ones who established civilization so that everybody else and their cultures can thrive and manifest into the various different cultures that we do see on this planet, that we have to deal with, whether it's an acrimonious relationship or pleasant, harmonious relationship. Either way, we're the ones who made it so they can create those societies. And Pan-Africans are basically global Africans who know that we need to work with each other socially, economically, so we can uplift each other, so that we can start to tackle some of the individual problems our groups have, right? Every one of our groups, our African groups on this planet, have problems with colonizers, the enslavers, the POC ass kissers that we got to deal with, because we know we got other POCs who not only do they admire us, they hate on us because they can't be us. And because of that, they participate in the white power structure, and they try to down us to make themselves feel better, right? They try to down us to make them feel better. I think sometimes as adults, we complicate adult society woes, right? we complicate a lot of the issues that we see on TV because we're adults, so we inherently think it's more complicated than it really is. But all you have to do is look at an elementary school and see at the basic level, when humans start to interact with each other, how humans act just at the basic level, right? We understand what people do when they're jealous, when they're envious, right? Because you could, envy and jealousy are cousins, right? People envy us. They envy our capability. They envy our intellect. They envy our architectural and societal achievements, right? On the continent of Africa, right? The entire continent of Africa is standing proof of our magnificence. You understand? Like, there's not too many places in the world, right, that have so much magnificence in one place, even though Africa to me is the world. I mean, Africa, the landmass itself, is a massive chunk of what we consider the livable world where human beings reside, right? But if you look at the Black Africa, everything from North Africa to South Africa, there's megalithic structures, giant, massive, advanced societies that was developed well beyond what we consider history, right? Where we start our recorded history at, right? Because we just been doing this for a very long time. People envy us because of that, right? All these scientists that these Europeans always love to say, oh, we invented this, or we discovered that. There's no white people and Europeans finally figured it out, because we figured it out a long time ago, and they know it. And they took a lot of the things that we taught them, right? And they just ran with it. Now, they have achieved a lot of things based off the information that we've already gathered, created, and manifested, which is great. Every group of people have contributed to the advancement of humanity, right? But the baseline started with us, right? All the scientists, all the sciences and disciplines started with us, everything. And it's been proven. And in the age of information, no longer can envious, jealous groups of people hide that information, whitewash that information, do things to direct the credit for that information to another group of people, while shunning the group of people that actually created all that information. The age of information, Africans around the world are finding out that they are in fact the architects of a lot of these things that we all enjoy in Western society, or human beings as a whole. And Pan-Africanism is the vehicle at which the flow of information, the flow of positive African thinking, the flow of what do you call self-esteem, group self-esteem, African group macro self-esteem is going to be delivered, developed and delivered to the masses of Africans on this planet, so that when an African child is born, he grows up in an environment where he's told and he's taught and he's given affirmation about his greatness, about his history, about his people, about his potential, so that he can, in his mind, be programmed to know that he can be great, that she can be great, that she and he can do anything, because his ancestors could do it, and he also can do it because he is, in fact, his ancestors, right? And I just want people to know that I'm a Pan-African before it was cool, because this right now, what we're doing is, it bubbled up, the way it bubbled up was, you got your, I'm gonna say, the Sonetta era, all right? We got your Sonetta era, and we're gonna be, and this is the beginning of the age of information, because before the age of information, we had the, when I say age of information, the age of information really starts once video formats, the internet, once that happened and we were able to communicate over the internet, that's when the age of information started. Before that, we had groups of Pan-Africans who were, they were, doing things in conferences. They pass out flyers. People would have to pay money to pay for the hall to go see someone speak. They would have to go in the soapboxes all over the world to get their message across to individuals who wanted to show up, and it's hard to communicate when you can't really get your message out there, right? Even now in the age of information online, it's hard to get your message out in the ocean of the internet. It's hard to get your message out now. So imagine how hard it was before the internet, right? But now that we have the internet, right, we had the Sonetta era, where you had a lot of people coming from off the street. They were preaching off the street, on the corner, and it all of a sudden ran into this video recorder and got uploaded on the internet, right? And, we had a lot of people who were very smart, very, very good scholars, right? But then we had a lot of pseudo, right? We're still dealing with a lot of pseudo things that we need to rip away from us, because as Africans, we still have a long way to go to unlearning the things that we learned, right? Unlearning is part of the learning process. We have to unlearn these white Western ways of living, right? Because we think, especially the Africans here and the ones that were colonized, that had to deal with the several generations of being inundated with white Western culture being the default culture on this planet, right? We think that the way white people do it and the way we do it, because white people had us doing it, is the only way to do it. But there's actually other ways to do it, and we invented those ways, and we have to discover what those ways are, right? But right now, we still have infections within our community. We still are infected with Abrahamic religions. We're still infected with the perverted religions that were perverted after they stole our religions and perverted it to fit their narrative. We're still dealing with that. That's why we have a lot of motivated Africans who have the right sentiment, right? But their vehicle that they're utilizing is taking them the wrong direction. It's not directing their energy towards where it needed to go. Like the Hebrew Israelites. The Hebrew Israelites, in concept, is a great organization with a lot of motivated, disciplined individuals who clearly are willing to go out and actively participate in the liberation of their people. But they are connected to the Abrahamic religion, and because they're doing that, most of their energy is being wasted because their energy is being put towards something that doesn't belong to us, right? Now, we can use it to go a certain distance, but at some point, we got to come to the realization that we're not Jews. We're not Israelites, so to speak, right? But it doesn't mean that the people in that area back then weren't black, because I've been to that area. The original people there were black. There's no such thing as Arab. Arabs are mixed people. You see me? I could be an Arab. An Arab is not a race. The Arab or the Orient, those people that get attached to the thing Muslim, even though Muslims are mainly Asian from Malaysia, right? They look like Filipinos, Taiwanese. Those are the majority of the Muslims, but the media shows us this small group of people we call Arabs, right? Arabs are nothing but mixed people. They're mulattoes. They're the first mulattoes, because that's the trading route where Asia, Africa, and Europe mixed, right? That's where it all happened. That was the mixing bowl. So Arabs are just mulattoes, all right? The first mulattoes. They speak an Arabic language, right? And so they attach themselves to the language. That's how they identify with themselves. But they're not actually a race of people. They're just mixed people, right? And, but besides that, if you actually look, Arabs, those people that look like the mixed people, they've never developed or created anything because they're brand new. They're a new people, right? Turks, Northern Africans, Yemenis, other parts of Southeast Asia, parts of Europe, Turkey, all those people mixed to create these things we call Arab, different versions of these mixed groups in the north of Africa and the Orient we call Arabs, right? That's what they are. But originally, that place was black. And if you go there, you'll notice that there are people there, they're still there black. Just like if you go to Egypt, the black people are still there. They're still there. They just don't get the camera put on them. And when people go there and you put the camera on them, the authorities will say something to you, because the theme for Arabs is to, not show the truth. There's a lot of the people and a lot of the Arabs and Europeans, they're invested in not telling the truth. And they've been successful in keeping the truth away from the masses. But in the age of information is flowing like water. You can't stop water with your hand. You can't go like this and push water back, because water is going to come through. Just like information is going to come through. So now the truth is coming to light. You can see the people there. They're black. So the Hebrew Israelites and their sentiment of us geographically being in that area makes sense. But the idea of being some Abrahamic false made up religion of some group of people, which has been proven in history that them people didn't exist, even though there was a Judah tribe, just like there were many other tribes. There was not this massive, omnipotent, single group of people who lived in this area who are omnipotent and better than anybody else on the planet. It didn't exist. Just like Christianity, something that we used to empower and liberate ourselves when we needed it, but we know better now, so it's time for us to do better. So we need to eliminate Christianity, because Christianity is the thing that put us in bondage. It was a tool that did it to us. It was the trick they used on us, right? Right? Islam is something we use to combat Christianity, right? But that's also just an Abrahamic religion, right? It's just an Abrahamic religion that's meant to be opposite of and is meant to fight and battle and be the opponent of Christianity, right? All three of these Abrahamic religions, that's really just three different freaking denominations of the same Abrahamic religion, along with the other thousands of denominations of the same Abrahamic religions, do nothing but cause death and destruction and division amongst the people who practice them, right? But that's the white Western way of doing things, right? And if you don't believe a lot of those Arabs are mostly Europeans, just take a look at most of the governments of these so-called Arabs, and you'll see that these are just Europeans from Europe that are ancestors and that are descendants of the Crusaders who came down to destroy the Muslims back when the Christians and Muslims, first started fighting, And there were I think there were like 8 crusades. So this is, you would consider the one that we're doing now would be like the 9th or 10th crusade. The Christians and Muslims have been fighting forever for their ideological differences. So religion have not been that effective with those people as far as advancing ourselves as society, right? But we as Africans, our religions historically has proven that our religions in the African way has historically advanced ourselves in society. Because look at the things we were able to do as Africans, utilizing our African-centered religions and traditions. Pan-Africans want to get back to that. Pan-Africans want African people to just recognize who they are. It's just that simple, right? And soon enough, that's going to happen, because that's what's happening. Africa is truly rising is not just a phrase to make you feel good. Africa rising is a true statement, right? It's a statement of fact. And soon enough, everybody is going to be pressed and want to be West African. It's going to be the coolest thing to be a Nigerian. Right now, it's being cool. I've been pumping for Nigeria, which is the home that's where we African Americans, pretty much the majority of that we are from there. Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, Togo, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, that whole West Africa, that's ours. And you see, at one point it wasn't cool to be African because we were taught by those same white people that oppressed us and told us we ain't shit, while simultaneously admiring everything we do and stealing everything we do, emulating everything we do, and hiding everything we done and did and do from ourselves, while keeping it and taking credit for themselves. While they do all that, African people thought that it was not cool to be West African, right? Or cool to be African at all, right? Let me not leave out my East African brothers and sisters, but I'm talking about the immediate, the group of people we are in the diaspora for the most part, right? But soon enough, if you ain't feeling it yet, it's about to be cool to be African. There's a lot of people that's about to get on board because now they see that African train rolling and they want to be a part of it. Something big, something great, something strong. And there's a lot of, in African Americans, because of the position we were put in, because of historical, what happened, we've developed into a very strong group of people. And as a strong group of people, despite the things that we have going on with us, we don't want to be naturally attached to anything weak, right? And if we are taught that Africa is weak, we don't want to be attached to it. And that's a lot of sentiment of other people. We don't want to be attached to anything weak, as we believe that we are strong black people, right? But we forget that we've been detached from the root. Even though we're the fruit, we've been detached from the root, and some of us have forgotten where that strength comes from, where the original, where the source of that power, that black power, that fist. We forgot where it come from. We forgot that we get that energy from West Africa. We get that soul from West Africa. We get everything that makes us great from West Africa. And now it's about to be cool to be West African, and everybody's going to be jumping on board. But right now, we're at the age where the Sarnetta groups, the pseudos, are going to the wayside. We appreciate the steps that they took to get our minds in this direction. But now it's time for the people to have the proper information, they have the proper motivation. That information is more correct and more in line with real, non-pseudo, factual, actual history and African information and knowledge, right? But right now we got to deal with all the Pan-African fake scammers, right? Where we got a lot of fake Pan-Africans, right, who use the sentiment of Pan-Africanism because they may identify with a certain amount or a certain ideological bullet point of Pan-Africanism, but they have a greater agenda. So they use Pan-Africanism to push another agenda. Like, we all know that there's a Pan-African who calls himself a Pan-African, but he's not really a Pan-African. He's something else. But he uses Pan-Africanism to get people to believe in another ideological mode, which actually is the enemy of Pan-Africanism. So we have a lot of fake Pan-Africanisms in the community. So we're at the point, as the age of information, we have to get rid of those fake ones, right? We also got Pan-Africans who want to use Pan-Africanism to enrich themselves solely and only, right? And those guys are coming to light, right? They scamming people. They're taking people's money under the guise of Pan-Africanism, right? So they're giving Pan-Africanism a bad name. So we have to, at this point, combat the fake Pan-Africanisms, right? The pseudo Pan-Africans, the Pan-Africans for profit, because we can allow fake Pan-Africans to sully or destroy the reputation of the real Pan-Africans, right? And as our people who is coming online and being introduced or running into these people, these Pan-Africans, sometimes they get caught up because they don't understand that these people are fake or that these people are scammers. And it's up to people like myself, a real Pan-African, to make sure that those people who truly want to join and believe in the Pan-African movement are guided and directed towards real Pan-Africans that's going to guide and direct them towards true Pan-African, African-centered ways of thinking. That's going to give them true, real, authentic Pan-African ideological thought and conversation, right? That's where we are now. And we must, as black people, start to make we need to be smarter, right? We need to take pride in our intellect, our ability to communicate, our ability to discern right from wrong, our ability to use our detective skills to see when somebody's bullshitting, when somebody's scamming, when somebody has a different agenda, because we, right, like our ancestors, have the capability of genius, right? And we have to use that genius so we won't fall into these traps, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and we know that. We know all black people are not going to be on this ride with us. We know all black people don't have black people's intentions, good intentions, in their heart. We know that, right? But we know that there were plenty of snakes in the grass. And we just have to find those snakes and kill them, metaphorically. All right, don't go killing nobody. We don't need to do all that, right? But all I'm saying, guys, is I'm a real Pan-African, and there's a lot of real Pan-Africans out there. Most real Pan-Africans have small channels. You know why? Because real Pan-Africans go against a white Western culture and ideological thinking. Therefore, if we have to use the white Western platforms, we have to use their platforms, they're not going to promote real Pan-Africans because it goes against the thing that they want. You understand? So if you're looking for a real Pan-African, look for small channels, right? Even though there are some small channels of scammers and fake Pan-Africans, which you all know who the fake Pan-Africans are. There are more than one, right? There are a lot of them, right? But if you're looking for real Pan-Africans, look for the small channels. Look for the channels that don't beg you for money. Look for the people who are consistently giving you content without begging you for money, and they're doing it because of the love. Because only a real Pan-African is going to do it for the love, not for the money. Because if they do it for the money, that means they love the money more than you. Because the thing is, it's money that destroys us. It's the pursuit of money that gets someone who would otherwise be about the cause to be more about the money and just themselves. Because life is not about money. Life is not all about how much cash can I put in my pocket. Sometimes, life is about, community. And community is more important. Now, money is important because white Western society made money important. White Western society made money important. So there's a lot of people who think that that is the goal and always the goal. Sometimes living a comfortable, happy life is the goal. And there's many ways to do that without having to be rich. To live a nice, comfortable, safe life to where your children can grow up, where they can learn and explore and enjoy this experience that we call life without having to be slaves to corporations, which it seems like all of us are just slaves to corporations. And probably in 1,000 years, they're going to look back at this era and they're going to call this another advanced form of slavery. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But anyway, I just want you guys to pay attention to who the real Pan-Africans are right now. Because when it becomes popular, eventually when it does become popular, when corporations figure out, oh shit, you know what? 1 in 5 people on this planet are African. I might as well capitulate. Because at some point, the capitulation will happen. It's kind of happening now. It's happening in movies. It's happening in TV shows. We're getting more representation. Because the only way to make money, you got to make money with the people that got the money. You got to make money with the people that got the population that have the money. That's Africans. We're coming on deck, right? So soon these corporations are going to have to capitulate to us. And then that means the algorithm is going to start pushing people like me. And I'll go from having a small channel to a massive channel. People be kind of calling and wanting deals. They're going to want to have advertisement deals and things like. They're going to want to do more business with people like myself and other small Pan-African YouTubers, because we'll be popular then, right? But I just want you guys to remember now, at this moment, when none of us is getting paid, none of us make any money for the efforts that we really put in to put this information out to you. And while we're doing it, we're not begging and trying to steal money from you, right? I want y'all to remember who was the Pan-Africans before Pan-Africanism was popular. Because Pan-Africanism is going to be a commercial name. It's going to be a global word. We might even change it. It might go from Pan-African to Global African. Because that's the same thing. Global African. Pan-African. Same thing. I'm going to start saying Global African so I can get that in your mind. Global African. Pan-African. Get your passport. Go anywhere. This world belongs to us. We can go anywhere we want. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we say world African. We're not restricted to a location where Europeans bring us. We're not restricted to a location where Europeans curate us. We're not on a reservation. We're not on a reservation in the Midwest. You understand what I mean? That's not us, and that's not how we're gonna operate. Okay? So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been pretty long. I would want you guys to sit back, especially some of y'all who discouraged. Some of you guys who want to start your YouTube channels, I implore you to start. If you're a real Pan-African, start your YouTube channel. It doesn't matter how low quality your video are, just do it. And tag me, I'll share it, I promise you. Just tag it. But Pan-Africanism soon will be a mainstream name. And when it is, just hope you appreciate the ones who were here before it was popular. Because once it gets popular, everybody's going to be a Pan-African. And more than likely, me and various other ones who started, we're just going to float in the background, just be a sea of Pan-Africans. And you won't be able to tell the difference between me and any other Pan-African. This is going to be a normal thing, right? And I look forward to that day. I look forward to that day. Because like I tell you, I don't do this Pan-African thing to make money. I try my best to take my own advice and make my money, you know, through my own power, using my African spirit, my African center of thought, and to partner and connect with other Africans that have the same thing so that I can better myself and use under my own power and the power of black community, African community. Right? I don't try to make money off you. Now, if you want to donate to me, I'll take it. Shit. All right? But that's not my my mode of operation. That's not why I'm here. Okay? But anyway, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Keep Pan-Africanism on the rise. Africa is on the rise. Black excellence on the rise. Black power is on the rise. Black agency is on the rise. All right? Black wealth is on the rise. Black health is on the rise. Black happiness is on the rise. It's all on the rise. So we need to just put our mind towards that and see the future. Some of us won't make it, but we can still be on the journey. As long as our children make it, that's the only thing that's really important. As long as our children make it, that's it. It doesn't matter what we do in our lives. It doesn't matter what we receive in our lives. All we need to do is work hard so that our children can have a better life than us. And you got to mean that. You want your African children, your African grandchildren to have a better life than us. You want your African children, your African grandchildren, and your African great-grandchildren to read about what we did in a book or online or in some holographic, augmented reality, because by the time we get there, they'll be doing some other stuff. All right, so anyway, that's all I got to say for now, guys. This is Afro Think Tank. Stay positive, stay motivated, learn something, teach something. I'm out.